And President Donald Trump returned home to this controversy after wrapping up his first foreign trip.
Mr. President, is Europe trying to set up a back channel to the Russians?
Mr. Trump only waved overnight when asked whether Mr. Kushner was trying to set up a back channel to the Russians. And this morning, the president unleashed several tweets attacking what he calls fake news. Joining us to talk about the latest in the Russian investigation, as well as whether or not the governor will actually sign those bills, ending the possibility of a government shutdown, Professor Larry Jacobs. Thank you so much.
Good to be here.
All right, your thoughts on the latest development concerning Russia, this time with the president's son-in-law?
Well, I think, for the White House, it's sad news for them. They had a pretty good trip abroad. The atmospherics in the Middle East were fantastic. He got his message out in Europe about standing up on trade and climate change and NATO. And he comes home and it's back right into this morass of the controversy around Russia. Clearly, the White House is in crisis. The White House is setting up a kind of Bill Clinton-ish war room to handle the tough news stories and the drip, drip, drip of this story that just won't end.
And the war room you're referring to, I believe, is when President Clinton was under investigation by a special prosecutor in the Monica Lewinsky episode. But let me ask you about this. Where does this latest allegation sort of rank? And there's no absolute denial from the White House. We are being told it's fake news.
Right. I think the key thing here is you had Jared Kushner, who was a private citizen. This is just a month after the election, who's setting up communications with the Russians. There are all sorts of other individuals and offices who do this all the time for the White House. He did not disclose it, and it appears, and again, it's appearance, that it fits into a pattern of back-channel conversations, failure to disclose these communications with the Russians, and that's the problem right now, I think, for the Trump administration. It's not yet a smoking gun, but there's a lot of smoke.
All right. There are two major bills that the Trump administration is hoping to continue to move forward. One is the president's budget, which has enormous impacts for states like Minnesota, all states, and also the health care bill in the Senate. Does this have any impact on that? It's
a big problem. The budget proposals have already been declared by Republicans to be dead on arrival. The president just does not have much credibility, particularly when Republicans are looking at approval ratings of about 40% or so. On health care, it's quite likely that Republican senators, which is where the bill is right now, could lose their careers. And do you want to put that on the back of a president who you may not trust?
But Republicans, Donald Trump still has an 80% approval rating amongst Republicans. He remains very popular amongst Republicans. Any thoughts about that? And the fact that, is this unusual that this is happening just 4 months into a presidency?
It's without precedent. I can't think of a president who so early in the administration is under fire with the I word, impeachment, being mentioned. And clearly, the support among Republicans is why you're seeing action on health reform. But the problem is you've got a group of Republican senators and governors who are running for re-election in states coming up in 2018 that are competitive, where you need to have independents and even some Democrats, and those are the tricky votes right now.
All right, let me ask you, switching gears, the governor has 10 bills, budget bills, sitting on his desk. He says he's undecided, will decide by Tuesday night. If he doesn't sign it, or if he vetoes one of these bills, it's back to square one. What do you think he's going to do?
I think it's a tough call for the governor, but I think he's going to sign. These bills represent compromise. And the Democrats got spending for early childhood education. They got spending for transit. Republicans got tax cuts that they wanted. But it's much less than either side wanted. And the folks who are disappointed, whether it's unions or kind of the conservatives, are screaming right now at both sides. And the governor is under quite a bit of heat from the teachers' unions, from groups that are organized on behalf of undocumented immigrants, and he's under pressure. I think he's reflecting that, but at the end of the day, this governor is committed to getting the job done and signing what are tough, painful compromises.
All right, well, we'll know by Tuesday night. Professor Larry Jacobs, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in.
Good to be with you.
All right.